Legends and Leaders, where the biggest names and brightest minds in sports share their journeys from on and off the field. Hosted by Leo Lewis, former wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings and founder of the Lewis Sports Foundation. This podcast dives into the stories behind the success, from elite athletes to influential figures across the sports world. Get ready for powerful conversations that inspire leadership and legacy. And now to your host, please welcome Leo Lewis.
Okay, what a spirited crowd we have here.
Love this.
Man, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm Leo Lewis, and I'm the leader of Legends and Leaders, our podcast, here today. You know what? I've got someone who hasn't been in the Twin Cities that long, but has come with some really good rigor and leadership. He's at Macalester College as the Vice President of Student Affairs and Director of Athletics.
Thank you for the promotion.
Donnie Brooks.
I appreciate it all. Let's go. So happy to be with you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Hey, it's not Houston heat, but it's pretty warm now, right?
It is warm. It is. If you don't hydrate, you're gonna pass out heat out here. which those of us who need to sweat out those demons every day,
yeah.
You know, it's been good to get outside and just enjoy the great weather and get some of that vitamin D.
Good. Well, Donnie, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. You're kind of in your lull period here at the end of the semester at Macalester College, at the infamous Macalester College.
Yes.
It's got a long history in the St. Paul institution, but before we get to the fact that you're from Houston, Texas,
yes.
You've been all over the country, you know, and certainly at really good spots. You've really elevated your professional outlook,
yeah.
But it all started out east.
Yes.
Okay. How did you get from Houston to Springfield College, for example?
You know, when you're growing up as a kid and your parents start to send you away for the summer, and, you know, they send you to summer camp, and then they're tired of you eating all the food out of the fridge, so they send you to go stay with your aunt in Pennsylvania. And I think I got really used to and curious about different places,
okay.
different people, and different cultures. And I got an opportunity to work at a summer camp when I was in school. Camp Atwater is this small camp in central Massachusetts, North Brookfield, Mass. And this camp is like one of two historically African-American camps. So in the 1920s, they started this camp so black kids could go to summer camp. And it was run by the Springfield Urban League. And the director there, a gentleman by the name of Henry Thomas, hired me. He said, I need somebody to coach football and lacrosse. And I said, I'm in. And there I got introduced to the president of Springfield College, which is also connected to the YMCA.
Okay.
It was the YMCA's college where they sent their future teachers and coaches. I knew I wanted to teach. I knew I wanted to coach. And that opened the door for me and continues to open a door for me for today. Went to Springfield as an undergrad, walked on to the football team, had a career as the most injured athlete in the country.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Come on.
I broke the same arm twice. I don't think many players do that, but went back for my master's and coached. And then the same gentleman, Mr. Thomas, who hired me as a camp counselor, then hired me as the athletic director at his charter school. Okay. So I've been an athletic director since the tender age of like 23 years old, and I thought coaching was really going to be my path, but the role of administrator and being able to help students across sports, across life situations, was really my calling, and then opened up opportunities at Williams and then Dartmouth College. And so once you kind of see a vision for yourself that initially you didn't have, but you now have a full-grown desire. My stomach used to hurt at night thinking about being an AD, and I just kept chasing the dream. And an opportunity opened in Mississippi at a small private liberal arts college, Millsaps College, and it was great. I had a great 2.5 years there.
You needed to get out of Mississippi.
Well, Mississippi's got its challenges for sure. Two things would have happened if I stayed in Mississippi. The food was so good I would have been 400 pounds if I was still in Mississippi. but also, I mean, the mosquitoes. I think the only place that has slightly bigger mosquitoes in Minnesota is Mississippi.
Wow.
But the job in Macalester is really what drew me here to Minnesota. And I'd heard of it, thought it was special, but I wanted to take a closer look.
Yeah, well, I think it is special. A private school, certainly a number of well-known, internationally known students have come out of there. And for me personally, as you know, you and I had talked about some of the legends in the athletic department there. Irv Cross, who was there and helped the Lewis Sports Foundation, run some of its football camps on that campus, and certainly a NFL analyst and an athletic director in his own right. You've heard of him. You didn't get a chance to meet him, did you?
No, he passed almost as I was entering Macalester.
Yeah. So and then Don Hudson. You had asked me about Don Hudson, the legend, who's got a number of. He's got an office named after him.
Yes,
at this point.
Yes, the football coach's office is Don Hudson, named after Don.
So I want to tell you about Don Hudson. His daughter is Natalie Hudson, who was the former Chief Justice of the state of Minnesota. And he was also a teammate of my father's at Lincoln University in the 1950s. And Don ended up going to various locations, but came back to Lincoln University to be the head coach after my father resigned as the head coach at Lincoln University. So we go way back. Yeah. But again, as you know, Don was the first African-American coach at a NCAA institution. Yes. So we're talking about the first African-American head football coach at an NCAA institution, right? Was at Macalester College.
Yeah. Macalester has always really desired to be a trailblazer in so many causes that are just. Our students are always fighting for something that is right. That also means they will protest you some days if you're not thoughtful about it. But when I took the job in Macalester, I knew I didn't have to be a trailblazer. There were some really important folks with some big names who had already opened up the door. My job was to run through it.
Of course. Now because of that, because of your persistence, you've kind of changed the identity of the athletic department. You got a new mascot, I see. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we recently changed our mascot. So, every great school in Minnesota who calls themselves the Scots or the Pipers, has some guy in a kilt with a bagpipe. And bagpipes, to me, they're just not dangerous enough. Nobody gonna take a Johnny out with a bagpipe. You gotta bring something tougher.
That's right.
And so as we thought about a new identity for Macalester, we knew our students were asking for something. They desired to have a new brand or an identity. And so we opened it up to the community, alumni. We opened it up to our current students. We wanted people to engage in this process and not think we were just going to drop something on them. And so we came down to 4. Has anybody ever heard of a Kelpie? Right? Some mythical creature which, grabbed people and drowned them. Didn't think we needed that. Does anybody know that the official animal of Scotland is a unicorn?
No.
That was not going to work if we wanted to win football games. The unicorn was not going to help us recruit. But out of nowhere comes this Highland cow. And so if you know a Highland cow, it's this massive, shaggy animal. It's got the bangs. It's got this thing going on. And if you're on social media and I just said Highland cow, you are now going to get them reoccurring now. But one of our alums who went to the NFL, a gentleman by the name of Paul Olson, said to me, Donnie, the reason I love the Highland cow? Because it's tough. When you see it, you walk up to it, it's massive. But it's a really gentle animal. You could walk up to it, you could pet it. But if you piss it off, it'll gore you right in the ribs. And I think it's like a beautiful metaphor for Macalester.
Yeah.
We're really chill people. And I think we are great community members. They call a herd a fold of Highland cattle. And we roll tough together. But if you piss us off, Ole's, Carlton Knights, right in the ribs.
Sounds like you got a problem with the other institutions in this state.
I came into the state looking for trouble. I wanted the Tommies, I wanted the Johnnies, bring them all on.
I know.
I think when you started this by saying infamous, I thought immediately of, like, we have a traumatic history at Macalester, and if anybody knows, Macalester has always been known as the longest what?
Losing
Anybody?
streak.
The longest football losing streak in the country until somebody else took it. And I've been, trying for years now to get people to forget that. And a part of us changing our identity is just going out and approaching who we even bring to Macalester. We have to bring people who have winning as a part of their mindset. They not only, our students are really superior scholars. In the classroom, our average GPA is like a 3.68. They do so well in the classroom, but why shouldn't we exemplify the same excellence on the field?
Right.
And so it is now a total mind shift switch on our campus when it comes to athletics.
Well, I'm sure you didn't have to convince people of that. It didn't take a long time, did it? I mean,
I would say I'm not sure everybody wanted to win. Everybody likes the feeling of winning.
Right,
But
right.
what did it take for you to win?
well, it takes a lot of hard work. You got to get the right people.
Yeah.
And as a leader, certainly with your role, you got to make sure you can place people in the right position so that things can get done.
Yeah, and the extra hours that you
Yeah.
work to get to where you've gone, and I think the sacrifice is what students would have to make. They had to figure out what kind of sacrifices
Right.
we want to make in order to be champions. And now I see students who want to make a sacrifice, who know that they can lead from the front, but it's not always your turn to lead from the front. Sometimes your job is to push other teammates from behind. Sometimes it's to fill up the water cups. Sometimes it's to check on your roommate to make sure he's going to be up for the 6 a.m. lift. So many things I see our students to do today are championship-driven behaviors now. So my hope is that when you see people with the shirt, with the Highland cow on, you now know that it's a different Macalester.
Right, and this transition, this attitude has transitioned to your entire student body. Now you're in charge of student affairs. So I can imagine that you're moving toward making sure everyone feels that way.
So my role is Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, which entails a number of things, but for me, my focus is the health and well-being of students on our campus. So I want our students to come into our fitness center. A lot of students come into a fitness center and they say, oh, look at these massive athletes. They're slamming weights, they're screaming, I don't want to be a part of this. And what I have to try to help students understand is this is a classroom like any other classroom or laboratory you walk into on campus.
Right.
And while you may not know everything in the moment, what I want you to do is come be exposed to it, work hard. I do things like we have snacks in the weight room. You go in our weight room, any student who works out can go in the fridge and grab a snack to start that recovery process right away. We want every Macalester student to start to have a mindset of not only healthy behaviors, but we want them to feel like winners too. And everybody likes a winner, right? And winning is contagious. So
Well, that's the beauty of being on a small campus too.
Yes.
You're able to create community-like behaviors, and everyone can care for everyone, certainly. You have a small radius, though, of your campus. It's a relatively small radius, but you have a great outlook.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you're able to recruit the right type of student.
Most students who come and visit Macalester know they want two things. They want a great academic institution, and then they want to be in the cities. So I think there's some schools who say, oh, we're so close to the city. I'm going to name 40 minutes down south, right? They're in cornfields, but they will tell you, oh, we're right next to the Twin Cities.
Right.
But when you come to Macalester and you hop in an Uber, and in 10 minutes, you're in downtown Minneapolis. Maybe you're at a Wolves game where they have the $10 tickets, which is one of the greatest attributes to me of like being able to be in a city. I could go experience art, entertainment, and culture. But 10 minutes away in an Uber the other direction, downtown St. Paul, my students are doing internships at the state capitol. And so students who come really want to engage. They want to be immersed in the full experience of not only a liberal arts education, but they want all of the fields. They don't want to give up the great food that they have in whatever place they're from.
Right.
Or they're from a place that doesn't have that and they want access to that. And so with that, I think we've also been able to recruit a higher level athlete as well. So you are what you say you are to great recruits. If you talk about the longest losing streak, that's who you are. But if you say we're building a winning program, our head football coach I hired 5 years ago has now come into Macalester and really changed the culture. Our younger students on our team are the leaders on the team. They're not afraid to go up to older students and say, that's not going to cut it anymore. Correct. And so the types of bodies that come on the campus now, they got a few more bumps on their bodies than the players that used to walk on the campus. And so I'm really excited about the future. But ultimately, what I think having great athletics at Macalester does is it offers us the opportunity to recruit a better scholar, actually. So there's some student who's a great student who's qualified to go to an Ivy League institution, who may come to Macalester now and say, wow, look at these facilities. Yeah. Look at the access I have to the Twin Cities. Not one, but two. But also, if I can come and have success in sports, and actually what I would just say, you can have it all here. Now we get a better scholar at our institution, and everybody wins. Our faculty wins. Long-term outcomes of what those students are going to do in the long term, we're all going to win if we get better scholars.
Right. Well, good. A testament to you and your efforts. Certainly, you mentioned that you've gotten some of these national awards. Won't you tell me a little bit about it? I don't want you to toot your own horn, but I'm telling you, because of your efforts, you've achieved greatness. Tell me what you just won.
I appreciate that, and this year our association, the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics, has named me one of 4 honorees for Division III Athletic Director of the Year. So.
That's right. And, things like that just don't happen. Yeah. Certainly your energy and commitment and influence has been, certainly the reason that, your president and the board and, the curators of the university have supported you. So congratulations on that. Before I let you go, though, you still got some interest in lacrosse and football. But you just came from a tough lacrosse match that your daughter had to engage in. But we won't get into that too much. But what is it about lacrosse that really has attracted you, though?
Walking off the football field as a senior at Bel Air High School in Houston, Texas, our lacrosse coach at the high school came onto the field and said, hey, I know a lot of you are finished with football, and I promise your football coach that I would not bother you ever during football season, but I love for anybody who's interested to come out and try lacrosse. Okay. And I picked up a stick for the first time after being an offensive lineman. And anybody who knows is after being an offensive lineman, unless you're the center, there's a 0% chance that you're probably going to touch the ball. And the first time, they gave me a long stick, about 6 feet long, a helmet, shoulder pads, and I looked at the coach and said, I can hit people with this? And I was just thrilled. But then, as your stick skills develop, you're like, I can actually have a true impact on the offensive or defensive side of the game. And so after really learning the game of lacrosse, understanding the history, where it comes from, it is a game that I could say that I love. And when my daughter, she loves basketball, but when she picked up a lacrosse stick, that was one of the greatest days, I think, for me as a father, because I see the game in many ways as basketball on grass. So many of the skill sets, so many of the systems that you see are the same in both sports. But in basketball, if you're 5'7", you're a tweener. You're a golf. But in lacrosse, she's a lengthy impact player, and so we are doing some investigation of what lacrosse could look like at Macalester. There are more teams here in the Midwest, and it's growing. Along with the sport of flag football, I think those two are two that a lot of schools in the Midwest are now looking at. But there's just a special place in my heart for the sport of lacrosse, as it is yours.
Both of my daughters played at the high school level, and one played at the college level. So
University University of Minnesota, I think,
yeah.
just was in nationals
Yep.
for their club lacrosse program. So my daughter's a sophomore. We'll see where it goes. But I will say I would be a very proud AD to have a lacrosse team at Macalester.
That's right, led by your daughter.
Yes,
Good.
You never know.
Well, Donnie, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. The Lewis Sports Foundation appreciates you because, Macalester has been one of those schools that have adopted a lot of our programming, and you've carried on the talents of many who came before you. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good.
This has been Legends and Leaders with Leo Lewis. Stay connected with the Lewis Sports Foundation to see how these stories are making an impact beyond sports. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep chasing greatness.